So your it factor has a lot to do with personal transformation in the areas that you probably think are not related to your business. But in fact, it is 100% related to your business. And the reason why is because we're building a personal brand. We are our business. You know what I'm saying? Like, who you are is your business. Who you are becoming is your business. The inspiring example that you're setting from where you come from, the crazy shit you've been through, you know, how life has kind of beat you up and chewed you up and spat you out, and you're like, oh my gosh, up until I found this opportunity, my life was a mess in all these different ways. That's very relatable. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Diamond Life Mentor Podcast with your host, Balazs W Kardos. I'm super excited to dive into this topic today around identifying your X factor and owning it inside of your brand, inside of your business, inside of how you're showing up, looking to create your diamond life and your freedom. It's all connected. And I recently went out for dinner with my brother. We had an amazing time catching up, hanging out. And this topic came up around, X factor or having the it factor in your business. And when you observe the community at large, when you see people who are winning and succeeding, you have to dig a little bit deeper than what you may think is their reason for being successful. So I'll give you an example. When we look at an affiliate opportunity, such as the one that we are building, everything is the same across the board, from the company to the products, the features, the benefits, etc. And within the larger global prosperity movement community, there are sub-communities that have different kind of flavors of the same process that has been proven to work and be effective. And what has happened over the years is that people take this process that is proven and decide that they want to package it a little bit differently. They want to present it a little bit differently. And over the years, this has turned out to be quite incredible when it comes to the results that people have created, the success of overall communities. And I highly recommend that people do this later on in their business when they're at a higher rank. I think it's powerful and it's important to fully own and embrace your authenticity and your brand of who you are, what you're all about, and what is your unique X factor. So let's talk a little bit about this. I look back on my career and my journey at some of the things that I've done to establish myself, and those are the things that I share with you on my podcast in various different episodes. And it made me think again around when you are building an online business that is relying on other individuals to participate. So you can have a sales organization that provides you leveraged income, duplication, and eventually this massive amount of people all over the world who are all doing a little bit. One of my favorite quotes is, I would rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts rather than 100% of my own efforts, which is a quote from a billionaire, J. Paul Getty. And so when you think about the power of building a sales organization who are all building online, or in some cases online and offline or whatever, everybody's doing a little bit, which totals to be this number that is not usually possible, right? Like if you had 100 people who each did 1%, which is very conservative, right? Like most people are not going to ever join an opportunity or get started in an online business and be like, my goal is to put in 1% a day, 1% per week. Maybe you improve 1% per day, which is 37x at the end of the year, which is massive growth. So that is cool. But overall effort of 1% total doesn't make sense. So this quote is very conservative. But when you build a business that has 100, 200, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 people all building it in your sales organization over the long term, magic happens, because 100% has always been known to be the max. But now, as soon as you have more than 100 people building, you are defying some of these laws of max capacity, let's call it, for 100%, right? So when we look at our business and when we look at how we're building our businesses, what is your unique value proposition? In a company, when you're promoting a product or service, it also needs to have a unique value proposition. That's what makes it stand out from the noise. It stands out from other products that are possibly competitors. And you need to have this it factor, this X factor, this unique value proposition for the company that you're aligning yourself with for long-term sustainability and growth, which we do have with Enagic. But you as an individual are the X factor, whether or not you specifically are going to make this business work for you. And so how do we identify what our X factor is and fully embody this authentically and step into it? So when I look back on my business, I remember thinking to myself, one of the things that I want to be known for is being an inspiring example of what's possible for others, becoming a permission slip for other people to believe that they can become wildly successful, free, abundant, wealthy, someone of value, a leader who can make a difference, who can make an impact. And the only way that someone else will believe this is if I become this individual myself. So that was an underlying theme. So what does that actually look like and represent for all of us, including you? Well, you got to get your life together. You got to get your shit together, for one. You can't have a chaotic life, stressed out life, depressed life, over anxious life, abusing alcohol, drugs, being lazy, being fat, being overweight, all these things, and expect you to become someone of influence that other people want to follow, that other people want to partner with. Like if your life is an example of what I don't want, okay, but you're promoting that you can coach me and mentor me and help me and introduce me to a life that I do want, that is out of integrity. It is out of alignment. Make sense? So initially, the objection that people often bring up inside my Diamond Life mentorship is, I hear you, Balazs, but I'm not making any sales. I'm not making any money. So why would someone want to work with me? Why would someone want to partner with me if I am not showing results? Well, my answer has always been and will always continue to be that there are many, many ways that you can establish and show authority and success and results prior to you making sales and making commissions. Because what you're really committing to when you partner with us is a personal development transformation. That's what you're truly committing to. Yes, you invest in some products, which is a business vehicle that will allow you to earn income, to have the benefits of this business model. Yes. But more so than that, you are able to showcase and document your transformation, taking your current reality, your current life, your current pain, your current problems, your current struggles, the areas of your life that you're disgusted with yourself, that you're dissatisfied with yourself. When you look in the mirror, it's the first thing you think about. And for a lot of people, it's actually to do with their weight, how they look, being fat, being in pain, physically, whatever the case might be, okay? And of course, I don't know exactly who's listening to my podcast in this moment. So if you've had a debilitating accident or you were born with some kind of physical limitations, this isn't meant to discourage you or to be rude to you or any of that stuff. Obviously, there are always going to be certain things that don't apply to what I'm saying, okay? So if you were in that situation, this doesn't necessarily apply to you. However, even if you were physically disabled or something along those lines, your attitude, your perspective, your outlook on life, how you handle yourself, how you react to yourself, how do you respond to those limitations are hugely inspirational. And we've seen this demonstrated in many cases over the years with people who, Nick Vujicic, he comes to mind, where he doesn't have any limbs. I think he has like one arm, and then the rest of that, he just was born with this disability, and he's turned into an epic human being, created himself, inspired other people, speaks on stages, and all the rest of it, which is massively inspirational to everyone else who may have all of their limbs and they're still making excuses for their life when someone like Nick isn't. So mad props to people such as Nick. Now, back to my point is, if you are getting started in this business and you're doing it to make money, that's perfectly fine. In fact, a lot of people do that. But what you have to realize is that your income will be a reflection of who you are becoming. And initially, it needs to start with you like having this line in the sand moment saying, enough is enough. I'm tired of, being overweight. I'm tired of being in pain. I'm tired of being lazy. I'm tired of having low energy. I'm tired of making excuses. I'm tired of eating junk food, disrespecting myself and my body, or abusing certain substances, or being lazy or addicted to things that don't actually serve you, and they keep you stuck. They keep you suppressed. They keep you playing small and accepting that to be okay and normal. So whatever that thing is for you, when you look in the mirror and you're dissatisfied or disgusted with some area of your life, it might be how you look physically, it might be your mindset, it might be some mental health stuff, it might be finances, you might be in debt, you might be whatever. Part of what you need to do is you need to fully own it, okay? You need to own it, you need to acknowledge it, you need to admit it, and then you need to turn that into your message. Turn your mess into your message. So for example, if you're overweight, right, significantly, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds overweight, your family, your friends, your audience online, they all know. It's not a secret. You're not hiding it from anybody. It's obvious. You look fat, you look sick, you look unhealthy, and everybody knows it. Maybe people don't have the ability to voice this to you because they don't want to hurt your feelings and offend you and whatever. But sometimes that's exactly what we really, truly need to make a transformation, is to call you out, call me out, anybody, it's not just at you, right? This applies to me as well. If the shoe fits, it fits, then wear it, right? And a few years ago, that was me when it came to my health. I was overweight. I didn't train and exercise regularly. And so I had a lot of excuses around this one particular area of my life. And then I hired a coach, I hired a trainer. I've been training for 3 years consistently, and I'm almost in the best shape of my life. I still have some work to do, but I feel strong, I feel energized, I feel healthy. I respect myself, I take care of myself, and all the rest of it. So I'm now speaking from experience that this was massive and changed my life, okay? So identifying this it factor for you, this X factor for you, can be part of your transformation if you're struggling to grow your business and create influence. Become an inspiring example of what's possible. If you're overweight and you don't exercise and you don't eat healthy and you don't do that, start doing that now and document it and actually go public, do a live stream, make a video, write a post, take some accountability photos of yourself in the mirror in a bathing suit or something with your shirt off if you're a guy, or in a bathing suit bikini if you're a woman. Post that online and say, look, I realize that for me to create the life that I want, of freedom, of abundance, of happiness, I can't continue living in this body that doesn't represent who I am on the inside. I don't know what this meat suit is, but it's way too heavy, way too big, and I need to make a change. And watch me. I've invested in some health products that are going to assist me. I'm in a community of like-minded, positive people who support me, who cheer me on, who believe in me, which is what I need. And it doesn't need to be a fitness program. It doesn't need to be a fitness challenge. It doesn't need to be 75 hard or any of that stuff. It just needs to be a line in the sand moment where you have accountability and you say, enough is enough. I know that this area of my life needs to change, and then the other areas of my life will follow, such as maybe making sales or making money or having duplication or becoming an inspiring example of what's possible, so people truly want to follow in your footsteps and have you leading them, okay? So when you respect yourself, other people will start to respect you. When you love yourself, other people will want to love you. When you lead yourself, you will have the capacity and the ability to lead others. It all starts from within. You cannot externally speak at people and expect them to listen to you, because your actions are always going to be more valuable and more important than just your words. So that's one aspect of it. If you feel as if you're unhealthy, fat, overweight, weak, don't exercise, don't lift weights, don't go for a walk, don't take care of yourself, if that's you, then this needs to become a priority for you, and your business will actually start to flourish once you honor this side of yourself, admit the truth, voice it to people, and then start taking the necessary steps to make progress in the direction that you know you deserve and you're worthy of. You deserve to be happy, fit, healthy, lean, feeling sexy at the beach. What's the point of having freedom and traveling the world if you're embarrassed of how you look when you go to the beach? Kind of ridiculous, right? So if you know that it's going to take you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years to be wildly wealthy and successful in your business, hey, you might as well start taking care of your health now and start dropping that weight and putting on the muscle and feeling amazing. Okay, so that's one example, one category. There's another example of this. Let's say you are fit. Let's say you are healthy. Let's say you've always gone to the gym. You've always taken care of yourself. You have a body that is attractive, that people admire, and they know that it takes hard work for you to be strong and fit and looking the way you do, okay? Now, many of you listening will fit this description more than the previous description, which is also fine. But then there's a lifestyle piece, okay? And this is the piece that I nailed really, really well prior to me hiring my fitness coach and starting to get my health and my fitness back on track a few years ago. But for the first 5 to 7 years of my business, one of the things that I did extremely well is I set goals, I set targets, I worked my face off to achieve them, and I also had ways of celebrating and experiencing my diamond life, traveling and doing cool things that were showing other people that this is available to them as well. So if you live a boring ass life, okay, and it's the same old stuff, your content is lame, nobody's attracted to it, you never do fun things, you never go on adventures, you never do cool stuff around your neighborhood, you know what I mean? Like, if your life on social media was a reflection of a reality TV show, you know, what kind of show would you have? What kind of ratings would you have? Would it be boring? You know what I mean? Like, would it be boring? Would your representation of your reality inspire me to want to work with you so I could have what you have, or at least a similar version of what you have? You know what I mean? If you don't stretch, if you don't grow, if you're frugal, if you're cheap, if you're conservative, all this kind of stuff, that doesn't attract the type of people that are actually going to grow your business to the levels that you want. You need to lead by example. You know what I mean? Like, let me put it another way, is growth has to be connected to your journey. And growth, in my opinion, is a connection between your outlook, your perspective, your mindset, your skill set, how you're showing up, what you're putting out there in terms of content. If you're building your business online, it's hugely important. But also hitting your goals, growing past income levels that you had the year before, being able to showcase your team growing, duplication, success, results, testimonials, case studies, all of this stuff is super important. But then also at the end of the day, what is the point? Like, if you quit your job, let's say as an example, and that's one of your goals, which is a really amazing goal to have, but all you do is sit around at home, sit around on the couch, on your phone, doing nothing, then is that really a sexy goal that you achieved, that you quit your job? You know what I mean? There has to be something that is like exciting for someone else to be like, yeah, man, I see the vision. I see the path. I see the steps. First you got started, then you did this for the first 3 years, then all of a sudden you quit your job, then you started to travel as an example, or maybe you upgraded where you live, or maybe you got yourself an investment property, or you did something that's inspiring for me so I can see, okay, I want to work with you, I want to partner with you, I want to follow in your footsteps because you are the one who created this path. Is this making sense? Now, if on the flip side, it's been years and years and years, and it's like the same type of content, the same type of boring ass shit every day, no travel, no fun, no leveling up, no growth, no results, no duplication, it's like, why would I want to work with you? And if I do want to work with you, the chances are I'm going to be somebody who also doesn't respect or admire growth. I'm also going to be someone who mopes around, who lives a boring, lame-ass average life, and it's just a bunch of fluff. It's a bunch of talking like, oh yeah, this is what we're doing, and we're the best, and watch us go, and talk, blah, blah, blah. No actual results to back it up, okay? So you need to look at your life right now and distinguish which area of my life is the area that I need to transform the most. Where is the 911 call? Okay, for some people it might be health and fitness. For other people it's about adventure, fun, experiences, bucket list, going places, doing fun things with your spouse or your family or your children, and stepping into that life that you once were dreaming of. Because if it remains a dream indefinitely for too long, those people will not buy from you. They will not work with you, I should say. They will not want to be inspired to partner with you. They will go work with someone else who's actually living their ideal life and continuing to grow, expand, level up, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. Is this making sense for you? So your it factor has a lot to do with personal transformation in the areas that you probably think are not related to your business. But in fact, it is 100% related to your business. And the reason why is because we're building a personal brand. We are our business. You know what I'm saying? Like, who you are is your business. Who you are becoming is your business. The inspiring example that you're setting from where you come from, the crazy shit you've been through, you know, how life has kind of beat you up and chewed you up and spat you out, and you're like, oh my gosh, up until I found this opportunity, my life was a mess in all these different ways. That's very relatable. A lot of people can be like, me too. This is where I come from. This is the circumstances that I've been in, etc., etc., etc. However, watch my transformation. Watch me put in the work. Watch me show up. Watch me be able to articulate and share what's on my mind. If you're afraid of something, that's okay. How do you articulate that? How can you say, I was afraid of going live. I'm afraid of putting my face out on content or posting captions or whatever area of the business you're intimidated by. I was afraid of that. I was avoiding that. But you know what? I realized that if I continue to live in fear, if I continue to not show up, everything I've ever desired and wanted will never happen. So despite my fear, I'm doing it anyways. And you turn that into content. You actually just show how you're thinking and working through certain obstacles and challenges that you're experiencing along your entrepreneurial journey, right? Then the flip side of this is you can't always be stuck in this place of it's always hard, it's always a struggle, I'm always afraid, because that's also not inspiring. It's like somebody who never overcomes anything or someone who never overcomes a fear. They have to be visibly able to see that you were uncomfortable, inexperienced, afraid of X, but then you did it, and then you did it again, and then you did it again, and then you did it again, and now you're not afraid. Now it is somewhat normal. Now you have gotten better. Now you are showing, like, for example, if we use the example of speaking in front of an audience or speaking on stage or making content or showing your face on Instagram or whatever it might be, people need to see that you're doing it, and then you start getting feedback, and people are tagging you in posts where, like, let's say you were a guest speaker on a launch or a webinar or speaking on stage, and people are sharing little snippets of being like, wow, that was a powerful speech. You know, it changed my mind. It made me cry. It moved me into tears. It moved me into action. Now your audience who's been watching you for a long time is like, what? That same person was terrified of speaking on stage, and now they're changing people's lives with their message. Wow. And you want to be building up this resume of this wow X factor that makes people go, well, if they can do it, I can do it. If they started where they come from and I started where I come from, I can do it. This is so important. And the people who are crushing it inside of my business, inside of my community, they've all identified their X factor and are owning it. So they own the parts of their past, they own the parts of their story that they were previously embarrassed by, previously ashamed by, previously nobody knew and nobody asked, and it was just kind of like the stuff that you keep in your closet, right? Like your dirty, dark secrets or something like this. But in this business, the part that's so powerful is when you own it and embrace it and say, my past does not dictate my future. Just because I've been through that, just because that was my childhood, just because I come from this place in the past, does not mean I will stay there forever. And look what I've created. Look what I'm becoming, etc., etc., etc. So for all of you listening right now, I need you to take a moment and step back and observe yourself, observe how you're showing up in your life personally and professionally in your business, and ask yourself, am I really owning and shining my X factor? So anyway, so you have to really observe this and go, is this sexy for anyone else to want to work with me? Am I a living example and proof personally that you can come from here and go here with time, with energy, with hard work and effort? But because if not, you will not be an attractive person to want to work with, okay? That hero's journey transformation is so super important. And remember that, like, if you are showing up in a way where you're not willing to invest in your lifestyle, your experiences, because you were raised with like a frugal parent or someone that's like, save your money for a rainy day. Make sure that you never buy things that you want, only things you need, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, cool. But listen, did your parents who taught you this have the life that you actually want? Because the chances are frugality, being cheap, not spending, not investing, not listening to your soul, like, this is what I want, man. Forget needs. Forget needs for a moment. If you are still thinking about needs, you are playing so freaking small in life, it's ridiculous. Like, I'll give you one example. So needs are like basic shelter, food on the table, some clothes on your back, maybe some transportation. Like, this is like considered basic needs, right? We need this stuff just to get by. An income, a job, pay the bills, put electricity, some heat, some water, this kind of stuff. Basic needs, right? If you are still focusing on meeting your needs as a grown-ass adult, isn't that embarrassing if you think about it? That's some embarrassing shit. I understand when you're first getting going in life and like first move out from home and it's all new and you're not sure what to do, or maybe something happened like in the economy, like the recession or something like this. You need to pivot. You need to make a move. You need to make a change. I understand all that stuff. But if you've lived your entire adult life just trying to survive paycheck to paycheck to meet your needs, that is not okay. That is not acceptable, because it means you're setting the bar just above survival. That means that when you look at your bank account and you see $0 in your checking account, that actually means $0 in your checking account. No, that is the equivalent of someone holding your nose, okay? Holding your nose so you can't breathe and only letting go right before you pass out and die. And then you take one big gasp for air. And then they hold your nose again for the next 5 minutes, right until you barely die again, and living your life this way. That is not fucking acceptable. It is not okay. All right? So we need to shift our focus from needs to wants. What do you want? When you want to go on a holiday or a trip, where do you want to stay? Not where you need to stay, not where you can afford to stay, where do you want to stay? And this needs to be this evolution where maybe right now it's just a couple of bucks above your income level or your budget or whatever. That's perfectly okay. But over the last decade, what I've done is I've stretched, man. I've stretched like, I don't know. It's not necessarily the best financial decision based on what I thought was a smart financial move. But you know what? Stepping into that, feeling that experience, that energy, whatever, it makes me actually grow. It makes me stretch. It makes me level up. And so for you, your business has to be a reflection of your personal transformation, right? And your personal transformation will be a reflection of your business. Once you understand this X factor piece of actually looking at myself and other leaders who are killing it and watching them and going, what's their thing? If I had to pick their X factor and describe it that makes them unique, authentic, and step into it, what is it? For me, it's the Diamond Life brand. The more I live my diamond life, the more my diamond life grows, the more my diamond life levels up. So I am a literal representation of growth, of leveling up, of cool experiences. Then my business levels up. Then I get more high-level people who want to work inside my organization because they see what's possible for themselves 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the road. The more I level up and grow my life today, the more inspiration it is for you who's listening to my podcast or part of my business who's like, wow, this is what's possible for me 10 years if I don't give up and quit. Do you see how it's connected? So I'm an example of exactly what I'm teaching and exactly what I'm saying to you, and you need to be the same example for you as well, okay? You need to step up and step into this mindset that everything is connected, and how you show up today is how your business will show up tomorrow, how your community and your people will show up tomorrow. If you are not duplicating in your business right now, but you're making sales, you literally have a disconnect between what you're focusing on as your marketing strategy, not just for new people, but for your lifestyle. I hope this is making sense for you. And I hope you take some time to do your homework and look at your life as if it was a business. Look at your life as if it was a marketing department, a finance department, a fun and leisure department, like all these aspects of culture that we think about when we think about a big company or a big brand. Like, what's the culture? What's the vibe? What are the values? What is the mission statement? What is the purpose? All of those things that we think about as a business, we need to embody that as an individual with our families and our experiences overall. Once you tap into this and you either lose a bunch of weight or you get a bunch of muscle on, or you show that you used to be a negative person and now you're a positive, grateful person, or you used to be boring and do the same thing every single day, never go out of your house, never go do fun stuff, never go be a tourist in your own city or your own community, never go on a trip somewhere to do something new, to go to a concert, a show, date night, dinner, traveling, whatever. If that's you and you've never done any of this stuff, start doing it. Show that you're having a maxed out full life, a life that is inspiring for other people, and they want to have some of that too. Because otherwise, man, it's like just boring. It's played out. It's like, it basically shows, even though you might be making money and putting it in the bank, it doesn't actually show anybody the benefits of money. Money by itself is worthless. It's what you trade it in for. And if you trade it in for travel, experiences, leveling up, investments, buying a second investment property or anything along those lines, or investing it back into your branding or your marketing, or hiring a team of people around you, like an assistant or a video editor or a content creator or whatever, this is inspiring. And if you are currently not embodying an inspiring example of what's possible and this transformation of becoming your highest self publicly through your marketing, through your ads, through your content, through how you show up online when you build this business, you will not create a sustainable business that duplicates with other people who are committed to becoming their best. And this is what I need you to understand. And if you do this and you start applying it further and further and further, while simultaneously growing your audience, which is another really important piece of this, is like if you have 1,000 followers on your Instagram and you're not running ads and you're not doing any form of outreach where you can grow the eyeballs on who you are and your offer, and you're just saying the same stuff to the same people over and over and over again, you're playing a losing game. Because think about it. Why would you spend all of your energy trying to convert people who have been listening to you long term, as opposed to starting to speak to the people who are ready and willing and looking and searching? They just don't know about you yet. So if you don't add new people, new eyeballs, new potential leaders into your world, you are sitting there being like, okay, eventually one of these people out of the 1,000 followers that I have will buy my stuff. But the chances are they won't, because it's not for them. And they're not attracted to what you're currently putting out there. And maybe you're not transforming and demonstrating your X factor yet. So decide what that X factor is, own it, step into it, start building it, and documenting it and sharing it with the world, and watch what starts to happen in your business with duplication and leadership and attracting a higher caliber person. It's all going to start to come together when you would see your own life from someone else's perspective and you would be inspired by your own life. That's when everything starts to be in full alignment and click. And I'm excited to hear your takeaways from this podcast episode. Please hit us up on our Instagram channel at The Diamond Life Mentor, and my personal account at Balazs W Kardos. Share the show with someone who needs to hear it. If there's someone in your business, in your community, who you know hasn't really owned that X factor yet, send them this episode of the podcast so they can step into it, gently, lovingly guiding them. Hey, man, you're overweight, dude. You got to start walking. You got to start eating healthier. You got to get your macros in check, which I'm going to do another podcast episode about more specifically around optimizing your health. But for this one, it's just a bit of a nudge in the right direction to become who you've always been destined to become, owning that X factor and becoming a super attractable, inspiring example for other people to partner with you and join you. All right. Thanks for listening. Share the show, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.